Hello and welcome to Express News. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. In the next half an hour, we'll get you all the latest news and updates. Let's start with our top story. Prime Minister Narendra Modi interacted with the chief ministers of various states today regarding the COVID-19 situation via video conference. The chief ministers praised the leadership of the Prime Minister in the fight against COVID. The chief ministers thanked the Prime Minister for the smooth implementation of the vaccination drive all across the country, while also giving their inputs and suggestions to further expand the vaccination coverage. The challenge of maintaining COVID-appropriate behavior in the general public was also discussed in light of the recent rise in the number of cases in some states. The chief ministers agreed on the requirement of greater vigilance and monitoring of the situation. The Home Minister listed out the districts on which the chief ministers need to put special focus in order to contain the spread of the virus. Addressing the chief ministers, the Prime Minister said that more than 96% of the cases in India have recovered and India is having one of the lowest fatality rates in the world. PM expressed concern about the highest test positivity rate in Maharashtra and MP. He stressed the need to be serious about test, track and treat as we have been doing for the last 1 year. PM urged to stop this emerging second peak of corona immediately and warned that if we do not stop this growing pandemic now, then a countrywide outbreak can occur. Sharing the concern on wastage of vaccines in many states, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has focus needs to be made on the fact that vaccines are not wasted. Maharashtra, Punjab, Karnataka, Gujarat and Tamil Nadu continue to report high number of daily new cases. They collectively account for 71.10% of 28,903 new cases reported in the last 24 hours. 83.91% of the new cases are from Maharashtra, Punjab, Karnataka, Gujarat and Tamil Nadu and Kerala. Maharashtra alone accounts for 61.8% of the daily new cases with 17,864 cases. It is followed by Kerala with 1,970, while Punjab reported 1,463 new cases. India's total active caseload stands at 2.34 lakh today, comprising 2.05% of the total cases. Maharashtra, Kerala and Punjab account for 76.4% of India's total active cases, with Maharashtra alone contributing nearly 60%. Over 3.5 crore vaccine doses have been administered through 5,86,855 sessions as per the provisional report till 7 a.m. today. As on day 60 of the vaccination drive, more than 21 lakh vaccine doses were given. India's cumulative recoveries stand at 1,10,45,284 today. The national recovery rate is 96.56%. 188 deaths were reported in the last 24 hours. 6 states account for 86.7% of the new deaths. Maharashtra saw the maximum casualties, 87. Punjab follows with 38 daily deaths. Kerala reported 15 deaths. According to ICMR, 22,92,49,784 tests have been conducted so far. 9,69,021 COVID-19 tests were conducted in a single day yesterday. India's vaccine diplomacy has so far been extended to about 70 countries. Ministry of External Affairs has received several requests for the supply of Indian manufactured COVID-19 vaccines from various foreign countries. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar in Rajya Sabha said supply of vaccine abroad is based on the assessment of adequate availability at home. Prime Minister Narendra Modi today addressed the opening ceremony of International Conference on Disaster Resilient Infrastructure through video conference. Prime Minister also called for cooperation to ensure the resilience of the global system. PM said that infrastructure is developed for the long term and if we make it resilient, we will prevent disaster not only for ourselves but for many future generations. Today was the last date for withdrawal of nomination for second phase of Assam and West Bengal Assembly polls. MDMK chief and MP Vaiko released the party's election manifesto for the upcoming assembly polls in Tamil Nadu at the party office in Chennai today. The Rajya Sabha today passed Medical Termination of Pregnancy Amendment Bill 2021 to amend the Medical Termination of Pregnancy Act 1971. Former Union Minister and BJP leader DILIP Gandhi died of COVID-19 at a private hospital in New Delhi early this morning. PM tweeted, saddened by the demise of former MP and Minister Shri DILIP Gandhi ji. He will be remembered for his rich contributions to the community service and helping the poor. He made numerous efforts to strengthen the BJP in Maharashtra. Condolences to his family and supporters. Om Shanti. Union Minister Prakash Javadekar slammed Rahul Gandhi for his comments. He said, comparing India's democracy with Gaddafi and Saddam Hussein is an insult to the 80 crore voters. Only during the year of emergency, we witnessed a time like that of Gaddafi and Saddam. The 30-share Sensex tumbled 562.34 points today to end at 49,801.62. The 50-share Nifty also tumbled 189.15 points to end at 14,721.30. Gold also rose by Rs 60 to Rs 44,519 per 10 gram in the national capital, supported by strength in global precious metal prices and rupee depreciation, according to HDFC Securities. Silver, on the other hand, declined by Rs 200 to Rs 66,536 per kilogram from its previous close of Rs 66,736 per kilogram. Rupee settles flat at Rs 72.55 against the US dollar. Brent crude futures, the global oil benchmark, fell 0.82% to USD 67.83 per barrel. Digital payments platform PhonePe on Wednesday claimed that it has emerged the most used UPI platform in India, with its transactions capturing 42% of the total market share. Bharat Earth Movers Limited, or BEML, has bagged huge orders from Bangladesh and Cameroon. The construction equipment supply orders are worth over some $23 million or 167 crore rupees. Renewable energy major Greenco Energy has bagged an order to set up Rs 30,000 crore hybrid project in Rajasthan, out of which around 11,882 crore rupees will be utilized in pumped hydro storage project. BMW expects at least half of its sales to be zero-emission vehicles by 2030, setting a more conservative target than some rivals in the race to embrace cleaner driving. In the short term, the German car maker forecast a big year-on-year rise in pre-tax profit for this year. The global COVID-19 case tally, which has crossed the 12 crore mark 3 days ago, it now stands at over 12 crore and 13 lakh. The tally of recoveries stand over 9 crore 78 lakh. COVID-19 has claimed over 26 lakh 84,000 lives worldwide. The US continues to remain worst affected from COVID-19, where more than 3 crore 2 lakh cases of COVID-19 have been reported. The country's fatalities have crossed 5 lakh 49,000. Europe's medicines regulator has said there is no indication that the Oxford AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine has caused blood clots, as the list of countries temporarily halting the vaccine's rollout over safety concerns continues to grow. Britain's Foreign Secretary Dominic Raab has also come forward in support of the use of AstraZeneca vaccine, saying there are no grounds to suspend taking the vaccine or the rollout, and urged people to continue to take it. Australia has no plans to halt the use of AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine. Australia Chief Medical Officer Paul Kelly has said that any unusual event will be investigated, but as of now there has been none. Bangladesh is celebrating the 101st birth anniversary of former President of Bangladesh, Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, today. Prime Minister Narendra Modi remembered Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, a champion of human rights and freedom, on his birth anniversary. He is a hero for all Indians too. It will be my honor to visit Bangladesh later this month for the historic Mujib Warsho celebrations. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be visiting Bangladesh on March 26th and 27th. He will attend the National Day program of Bangladesh on March 26th as the guest of honor. Speaking in Britain's Parliament on Tuesday, British Prime Minister Boris Johnson said that his government wanted to strengthen relations with countries outside Europe, and for this they have invited India, Australia and South Korea to G7 summit. US Secretary of State Antony Blinken arrived at Osan Air Base in South Korea today, following his trip to Japan for talks with his Seoul's counterpart and officials on regional issues. Earlier today, U.S. Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin also arrived at Osan Air Base in South Korea after visiting Japan. 8 people, 6 of them women of Asian descent, were shot dead at a massage parlor and 2 day spas in the Atlanta area on Tuesday, and a man suspected of carrying out all of the attacks was arrested hours later in southern Georgia. U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris made her debut at the United Nations on Tuesday. She said that democracy fundamentally depends on the empowerment of women and that democracy globally is increasingly under great strain. Unveiling his government's so-called integrated review, British Prime Minister Boris Johnson on Tuesday said that Britain's new foreign and defence policy priorities show how the country will relearn the art of competing against states with opposing values. Venezuela this week is rolling out larger denomination banknotes as hyperinflation batters the crisis-stricken South American country's Bolivar currency. In Lebanon, the pound has lost 90% of its value. There is unrest in the country as protesters burnt tires and blocked roads in Beirut against the Lebanese currency's sharp fall. There are fears that soaring inflation in Nigeria combined with rising insecurity could trigger social unrest. Inflation in Nigeria has hit a 4-year high, according to government statistics. Russian authorities said Tuesday they would block Twitter in a month if it doesn't take steps to remove banned content. Israel said on Tuesday that it has successfully completed a series of advanced tests of a multi-tiered missile defense system that could hit targets flying at different altitudes, such as cruise missiles or ballistic missiles. With paintings by Pablo Picasso, René Magritte and Joan Miro, as well as Banksy's tribute to Britain's National Health Service are among a selection of artworks going under the hammer this month. The auction is all set to be held in London on March 23rd. In Vietnam, Vingroup Group on 21st of April will officially open the first sleepless super complex, making the island a new international destination in Asia. The complex costs $2.8 billion and includes over 10,000 rooms. It also has facilities and entertainment venues. Crimean powerlifter Jamshid Ismatilev set a Russian record for pulling a 31.5-ton amphibian aircraft over the distance of a meter at a military base near Sevastopol. Ismatilev suffered serious injuries during the first attempt earlier in the day when he managed to pull the plane tethered to his waist for 31 centimeters. Ismatilev was able to pull the aircraft to 1 meter and 12 centimeters in 40 seconds in the fourth attempt. The record was confirmed by representatives of the Record Book of Russia. Moscow annexed Crimean from Ukraine in 2014, drawing sanctions and sending relations with the West to post-Cold War lows. The whirring sound of a chainsaw fills the air and a dead longan crashes to the ground under the watchful eye of wood craftsman Ricky Wong. Wong's non-profit organization HK Timber Bank collects dead trees and turns them into one-of-a-kind furniture and household products for Hong Kong residents to enjoy. The NPO had collected 300 tons of trees to recycle last year. Much of this would have ended up in landfill had it not been for Wong's efforts, as such trees are usually being deemed infested with insects or rot. Wong established HK Timber Bank in September 2018. Trays of black soldier fly larvae busily munched their way through hundreds of kilograms of food waste collected from around Singapore at Insecta, the city-state's first insect farm. Those insects are being bred so that scientists can extract high-quality biomaterials that can be used in pharmaceuticals as well as electronics. The company is working towards expanding on the current industrial applications of the high-grade chitosan in maggots to include wound healing agents. Russian robot manufacturer Promobot opened a new department in the country's far eastern city of Vladivostok aimed at research and development of realistic appearance for humanoid robots. The department deals with 3D modeling of humanoid robots and creating hyper-realistic artificial skin. The goal of the company is to bring aesthetics of sculpture and art into humanoid robots. The staff at the department includes specialists working with polymer as well as artists and 3D modelers. We humans may be tired of video calls, but chimps at 2 Czech zoos are just starting to enjoy their new live online link-up to make up for the lack of interaction with the visitors in the country's coronavirus lockdown. The chimpanzees at Safari Park Dvor Kralov and the troop at the zoo in Brno can now watch one another's daily lives on giant screens. Kur Kralov ape keeper Gabriela Linhatova said the chimps first approached the screen with defensive or threatening gestures but later just munched on treats while watching the action. The restoration and renovation work outside of Brussels' landmark, the Palais des Justices, has finally begun after decades. The courthouse, designed by architect Joseph Pollard, was built between 1866 and 1883 and at the same time was the largest building constructed in Europe. The renovation of the outside of the building is due to cost 100 million euros and is due to end in 2030. It was partly destroyed in September 1944 when German soldiers set the dome on fire. A mural by the street artist Banksy on the wall of an unused British prison has been vandalized with the name of a former rival. The artwork on HM prison reading, which possibly depicts former inmate Oscar while escaping, previously featured a typewriter, but that has now been defaced with red paint reading Team Robo. India's long jump athlete Murli Sri Shankar qualified for the Tokyo Olympics with a spectacular jump in the Federation Cup. Virat Kohli equals Kane Williamson's record of most 50s as captain in T20Is. Indian captain also moves back into the top 5 of T20I rankings. Ross Taylor has been ruled out of the first New Zealand versus Bangladesh ODI due to hamstring injury. Mark Chapman has been added to the New Zealand squad. India women suffered their third consecutive defeat despite captain Mithali Raj's unbeaten 79 as an all-round South Africa sealed the ODI series 4-1 after a 5-wicket win in Lucknow. The start of badminton's prestigious All England Badminton Championships was delayed for several hours after a number of positive and inconclusive COVID-19 test results. India's star shuttler PV Sindhu will look to shrug off her demoralizing Swiss Open final defeat at All England Open Badminton Championships beginning today. Carolina Marin has pulled out of the prestigious tournament due to an injury. The Indo-Pak pair of Rohan Bopanna and Esam ul Haq Qureshi lost its first match after rejoining forces, bowing out of the ATP 500 event today. Real Madrid reached the Champions League quarterfinals for the first time in 3 seasons with a clinical second-leg performance against Atalanta. Leading 1-0 from the first leg, Real doubled their advantage in the tie when Karim Benzema scored in 34th minute. Skipper Sergio Ramos added Real's second from the penalty spot in 60th minute. Manchester City moved into the Champions League quarterfinals for a 4th consecutive season by completing a comprehensive aggregate victory over Borussia Mönchengladbach. Leading 2-0 after the first leg, the Premier League leaders extended their overall advantage after only 12 minutes of the last 16 second leg tie. England goalkeeper Jordan Pickford ruled out of the upcoming World Cup qualifiers due to abdominal injury. World champion Magnus Carlsen brought his A-game today to crush Levon Aronian in just 3 games and take a firm grip on their quarterfinal tie. Golfer Tiger Woods thanked his medical team as well as his fans for their well wishes as he's back home and continuing his recovery after suffering severe leg injuries in a car accident last month. The makers of John Abraham and Divya Khosla Kumar starrer Satyamev Jayate 2 on Wednesday announced the release date of the action thriller on May 13, 2021. The film will hit theatres on the occasion of Eid. The makers of Mohit Chadha starrer upcoming thriller Flight have announced a new release date for the film. The film will now release on April 2, 2021. After the mega budget blockbuster 2.0, Akshay Kumar and Laika Productions have once again joined hands. Their dream project for Ram Setu. The shoot for the film will begin on 18 March 2021. The film also co-stars Jacqueline Fernandez and Nusrat Bharucha. The film will be directed by Abhishek Sharma. US director Spike Lee has been named president of the jury for the 2021 Cannes Film Festival after last year's event, which Lee was set to chair, was cancelled due to COVID-19 pandemic. The other members of the jury and the film selected for the program will be announced in early June. The 74th Palme d'Or Prize will be presented on July 17th. Actor Kurt Russell celebrated his 70th birthday on Wednesday. The Hollywood star broke onto the scene in the late 1960s and has starred in a multitude of films in his six-decade career. Hollywood actor and producer Matthew McConaughey has launched his own YouTube channel. The 51-year-old made an announcement about the same on his Twitter handle. Former First Lady of the United States, Michelle Obama, has launched Waffles and Mochi with episode aired on Netflix on Tuesday. Waffles and Mochi is a kid-centric cooking show which will feature Michelle Obama as a supermarket owner. Pop singer Demi Lovato is all set to release her new album titled Dancing with the Devil, the Art of Starting Over next month. The album will be released on April 2nd. In Africa, Kenya-based audio streaming platform named Dundo is attracting 90,000 musicians and millions of users. The site is free for users and makes money through advertising. Well, that's all we have in Express News. Stay tuned for more news and updates. Namaskar.